The topic for this week's video is waxing waxless skis. Now I know it seems a contradiction in terms. Why would a manufacturer call their skis waxless if you should wax them? Well, the truth of the matter is that waxless skis really do need wax in order to glide properly. And the whole point of skiing is about gliding. And if you're not going to have if your skis don't glide well, in my opinion, you might as well be on snowshoes. Now there are some conditions where waxing probably won't make a whole lot of difference on how well they glide. But that's a pretty rare instance. Most of the time in most of the places that I ski, waxing your waxless skis will just make them glide faster and a lot smoother. Now you can make the process as complicated or as simple as you'd like, and they make specially designed products just for waxless skis. So let's head back to the old garage and I'll show you how I take care of my waxless skis. Here are a few of the easy to use wax products I use for my waxless skis. The first thing I do before applying any wax product is to give the skis a good brush down with a stiff nylon brush. The brush helps to clean out any foreign material that may have gotten into the pores of the skis. And after you're sure it's clean, you can just simply apply one of these liquid waxes. This one happens to be Swix Easy Glider Wax. You just simply rub it on, both on the smooth area of the ski and also on the crown pattern. I find it's hard to get an even layer with this bottle wax. So what I'll do is I'll take a lint-free cloth and I'll just kind of smooth it out. When I wipe down the ski, I like to wipe it down in the direction that the ski slides. That helps to get the excess wax out of the crown pattern. The excess that comes off on the rag, I like to try to apply it to the top side of the skis. I put it around the binding and also on the top sheet, and that helps to keep snow from sticking. The last thing I like to do is apply a little silicone lubricant on the moving parts of the binding. Just be sure to use one that's not harmful to plastics. I actually prefer using a paste wax over the liquid wax in the bottle. Swix also comes in a paste wax. It just seems to be easier to apply and to get an even coat. The paste and liquid waxes are easy to apply, but the one downside is I don't find them very durable. One thing that does help is to wax your skis up, and if you can let them set overnight, some of the volatiles will evaporate off, and I think it tends to last a little longer. Another option is rub-on waxes. Now don't confuse these with grip waxes. These are actually glider waxes, and they're designed just to be rubbed on. I find these to be a little more durable than the paste waxes, but you have to take a couple extra steps when you use them. For waxless skis, I only apply these rub-on waxes to the tips and the tails. I don't apply it to the traction pattern of the ski, although I've heard that some people do that. Anytime you rub on a wax, you're going to leave an uneven surface. And so what you'll need to do is use some method to essentially smooth that out as best you can. Here I'm using a natural cork. I'm applying a lot of pressure. I just rub from the tip to the tail and get it as smooth as I possibly can. And don't forget to cork out the groove as well. And for a final touch, I'll use a lint-free cloth and I'll just brush the ski from the tip to the tail. Now this is actually a pretty thin layer of wax, and if you have a waxing iron, you can use that instead of a cork. I don't confuse this with hot waxing a set of skis. All we're trying to do is just smooth it out. And I find that when it's a pretty thin coating, you don't have to scrape your skis later. Now I've only applied the rub-on wax to the tip and tails of the ski, so I have to do something with the traction pattern. and I'll just go ahead and use a paste wax to finish that up. So why go through this extra step? Well, it's just mainly because the rub-on waxes are going to be more durable than the liquid waxes. For the best performance, you can hot wax the tips and tails of the ski with a glider wax, but you're going to need a scraper and an iron for this process. Now, glider waxes come in various temperature ranges for different snow conditions. What I'm using here is one that's appropriate for the temperatures I'm going to be skiing these. It's essentially the same wax as I use on my skate skis, and the process is very similar. The method I'm using here is just to dabble on some of the wax pretty heavily, and then I'll just iron it in until I see that the wax base essentially soaked up all the wax. There'll still be some excess that we'll have to scrape off after the ski is schooled. Well, there, that's looking pretty good. Now we'll just have to set it aside and let it cool. All that's left to do now is to get all of the excess wax off of the tip and the tails of the ski. I'm going to clean out the groove, and then we're just going to scrape the tip and the tail until we can't scrape any more wax off. And one of the mistakes people make is thinking that they need to leave a layer of wax on the ski. But believe me, you just keep scraping and scraping and scraping until you can't remove any more wax. That'll give you the best performance, and it's also very durable. And lastly, I'll go ahead and polish the tips and the tails with this rag. Remove as much of the scrapings off as I can. Oops, missed a little bit. Now we still have to deal with the crown pattern portion of the ski. I did not hot wax that. So what I'm going to use is just the paste wax, just like I did on my other skis. And I'll rub it in. Then I'll also apply the paste wax in the binding area, just to keep ice from building up. And lastly, take a rag and just polish it nice and smooth, make it look pretty. Now, if you decide to do a lot of hot waxing, you're probably going to want to get a ski vise. It just makes it so much easier to scrape the waxes. Well, if all you ever intend to use is liquid paste or rub-on waxes, you don't need a vise. Here I'm just using a couple of tin cans with some cloth on top to protect the skis. And that's more than enough just to be able to apply and rub down paste waxes. Well, I hope you found today's video both fun and informative. If you have, be sure to give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, be safe and be kind. And I'll see you in the next video.